Welcome back to Crypto Unlimited 22, home of the Double Deuce, where we double down. I'm Johnny Faucet, and welcome to another edition of Saturday Night Live in DeFi. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone is doing good. Tonight, here we are, another week in crypto. What an exciting week. What a week, what a week. But, before we get started here, just got to go over a couple housekeeping rules. Just remember, anything we talk about tonight is not considered to be financial advice. We are not financial advisors. We do not give out financial advice. This is crypto. Extremely risky. You could get wrecked. You could lose all your money. So be very careful in these crypto DeFi streets because you could get scammed. So you got to learn for yourself. You got to do your own research and you got to be careful out there. All right. With that out of the way, make sure if you're new, you subscribe to this channel. Help us boost the subscriber base up so we can get up and hit our goals of getting more subscribers on this channel so we can get this information out to more people. Because all we're really trying to do at the end of the day is just try to provide value and help people in cryptocurrency. So if you're new, follow along. It can be like trying to take a drink out of a fire hydrant at times, but just hold on, buckle up, and just keep paying attention because I guarantee you're going to walk away with something. All right. Also, you got to hit that like button. Smash that like button for us so we get that algorithm rolling and this gets out to more people as well. All right. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the stage, shout out to the thumbnail guy, my right-hand man, Mr. JVANQUISH. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing good, Johnny. How about you?
Doing great. Glad to have you tonight. Thanks for showing up, man.
Yeah, that thumbnail guy outdid himself this week. Fantastic stuff.
I like it. Really feels like we're at home, Also joining us tonight, the Thunder from down under, Officer Dips by D's. Happy 4th of July, sir.
Yes, right back at you there, sir. Great to be back, and shout out to the thumbnail guy.
Awesome. And we got a last-minute arrival. I'm glad he made it, though, because I've been missing and wanting to see this guy, the old miser himself. You might know him as DeFi Guy. Around here, we call him Brandon. Here he is.
Miser.
Yeah,
miser. I'm a miser now.
I picked up on that, too.
Wow.
You got that, Johnny?
I mean, it's true. I do resemble that comment, so.
You said it in the stream.
You said it yesterday in the stream.
Did I? Oh.
Yeah. You called yourself a miser. It was great. I was getting groceries today, and I heard it come on. I'm like, I'm going to remember that one. I'm glad you did, Johnny.
Hey, man, I appreciate you guys watching the stream, whether it's live or recorded. All those views help. So thank you so much.
I'm right with you, though. I'd be tuning into the free fireworks, too. I'm a miser when it comes to that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, that was awesome. I don't know what you guys did for 4th of July, but, I've been to the shows at a high school or, some kind of outdoor setting, football field, whatnot. I've seen those kinds of shows. I've seen, people lighting up their fireworks in their driveways and in the street in front of their house and stuff like that. I'd never seen anything like this. They do it right here in Georgia, I guess, or at least on this street. There was at least 3 families. They had a good dozen of those mortar tubes sitting out on the cul-de-sac. They just went off, man. They went ham.
It made me think when you guys just talk about this, and it's sort of a sore subject, but we didn't even have fireworks in this area. And the reason why is it even made national news is that a police officer shot a 13-year-old kid about a week ago, right down here in our area. And the kid had a pellet gun, I guess. It was a toy gun. I don't even think it was a pellet gun. I think it was just a toy gun because on the video, it showed the red tip on the end of the gun. 13-year-old kid, and the police officer shot him, and the kid died. So they usually have a big display of fireworks here in the city. And the mayor shut it down because they wanted to, recognize for the family and stuff. So they postponed the 4th of July fireworks here and the ones at the beach that's close by as well. So, yeah, that was pretty tragic. And actually, we ended up working on 4th of July. So being it was on a Thursday anyways. So anyways, long story short.
So
it's about
great way to start off the stream right there. 13-year-old.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
You guys had to work on the
Yeah,
Let's go.
I will
Hey,
say, over where I
LFG.
am, my neighbor launched off most of his fireworks on the 3rd of July for some reason. The 3rd of July at like 11 p.m. And my dogs don't like fireworks, so it was all once they go off, my dogs are set for like 12 hours, where they're like on my bed, under the blanket, out of the blanket, on my head, down the head, and then if anyone goes in the garage, they sprint to the garage and they hide under my car, and you can't get them out.
Fireworks are banned here in Australia now, so there's very little going on 4th of July, but there's the odd pocket you'll hear some fireworks go off, but for the most part they've been banned. Just too many injuries over the years, so you can't really get a hold of them unless you go to some dodgy Chinese supermarket and they sell them out the back door or something like that.
Why would they celebrate the United States?
Well, it's a bit like it's a bit like Halloween, right? I mean, it's a very much an American sort of thing that's celebrated here. I mean, Halloween's quite big here, but 4th of July, not so much.
No, I wouldn't imagine.
But any excuse to let some fireworks go. But unfortunately, that's pretty difficult to do now.
You know what's funny is in New York they used to be pretty much banned unless you had you were doing them like a festival or a community was doing them, and people would go to like Pennsylvania and these other states, buy them and then bring them back. And then I think just in the last couple of years, I mean it could be longer, you can buy them and use them, but it's like I think it's like only like during a certain period, like around the 4th of July, and like every Walmart parking lot has like a little tent where you can go and buy them.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have any issues buying and utilizing fireworks here in the great state of Georgia. I'd never seen anything like it. Not in a neighborhood fireworks display. And the mortars, they boom. You feel it in your chest, and they go real high and then explode, just like the fireworks that you see on TV. Maybe a tad smaller, but because it's so freaking close. I mean, it's literally directly overhead. I even had, debris raining down once in a while. And, it wasn't just like, oh, the little flowers, a little smoke bomb. Ooh, let's do the expensive one that sits there and throws some sparks like 6 feet in the air with a couple little crackles for maybe 30 seconds or something. No, man. This was legit pyromania. It was awesome. I really liked it. The only bummer is that my wife was working, so but that's where she wanted to be. These emergency medicine doctors are a special breed of human, and she even traded shifts with somebody else specifically so she could work on the evening shift of the 4th. So hoping to get some speaking of
some action.
Great downers to start the stream. She was really hoping to get some drastically, fireworks related injured people. But no such luck. Everybody stayed safe apparently. So
good.
Mostly because they're so used to it, right? They're so used to playing with fireworks in Georgia.
Yeah, it sure seems that way. They knew what they were doing. Although one of the mortars kind of went to the side and kind of exploded fairly low and then kind of rained down on somebody's rooftop a little bit, just a little bit, but hey, it didn't catch on fire. So all's well that ends well, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, if you haven't got your popcorn yet, if you haven't got something to drink, you got a couple minutes here. I'm going to play a little video to recap the week, give us a little something to talk about after we watch a little clip of this video, and I'll speed it up to 2x speed after we get it going here. But we got Elio here, and he made a pretty good of this video regarding the recent news in the market and some political standpoints. So let's get right into it.
The Germans are storming the gates. That's right, on America's birthday. Yes, on the sacred day of George Washington's birth, we are seeing the Germans dump Bitcoin, all of their national holdings here, which is something like 50,000 Bitcoin. They have 40,000 left. And that, my friends, is causing this horrific price action where we are actually dipping below this 4-month range. We're going to talk all about what this means here, but believe me when I say this is not what you want to see. If you're hoping short term to see Bitcoin, go to the moon or something. So today we're going to talk about what's happening in the markets, because I've been extremely bullish on this particular range resolving to the upside. And as of today, seeing the range break here below 60,000s, the likelihood here is that actually I'm wrong. Now, of course, I'm going to be riding with my decisions. I told you guys many times I've not sold any coins despite being rolling in a lot of profits. And that's because I value so much doing this trading thing in lockstep with the content that I create. And that's why we have such an amazing community here, is because you guys know that I'm doing everything I can to deliver you guys the best outcome and actually riding in the boat with you, which pretty much no one else is. With some exceptions, there's some good content creators out there, but very few. Almost no one that I know actually puts themselves through as much pain and anguish to be riding in the boat with the community as I am. But all that is to say, who cares if I'm riding with you if I'm wrong? And so we're going to look at what could be happening here and the way I see this all shaking out right now. Because even though we're losing this range and it could lead to some serious downside short term, in the end, we are looking at the best macro setup for crypto that I have ever seen. And I stick by my guns that this is one of the biggest long-term opportunities that we will probably ever see in our lifetimes. Let's get into it. So on the bearish side, we have Andrew Kang here, and he's saying here that most market participants are not appreciating the significance of a potential 4-month range loss. You see a 4-month range that we had built up in early 2021, and that took the price from about 60K all the way down under 30. And he's sort of likening these two ranges right here. He's saying study May 2021, aka everyone was bullish calling for a breakout, and we ended up breaking down. Now to be clear, if he's likening these two, we did eventually make new highs right above those highs later in the year. So not total devastation. In fact, most altcoins peaked at the end of the year. But let's call it like we see it. Andrew Kang made a ton of wrong calls and he flip-flopped a ton. He said, hey, look, I've been bullish since last year. Now I'm flipping bearish. That's not true. He's flip-flopped a lot. I've seen all kinds of different sentiments out of the Ru Kang account. That's not to say he's not a good trader. I'm sure he is. He's definitely made a lot of money. But the reality is that he's made a lot of wrong calls. So this is just one man's opinion. Remember that. Now, the one account that, of course, I take very seriously when it comes to price predictions is Crown. He's just been a man of the data and crushing it. Obviously, he's been wrong about this range resolving to the upside. So we can hope he's wrong here, but he's saying that effectively downside targets show that the worst case scenario here is 47,000. Now, 47,000 from where we're at is 10K below, but it is a big $10,000. And I believe that if Bitcoin is sneezing down to those levels, alts will probably get cancer and it will be a rough time. That said, I also do believe that we're on the brink of the biggest bull run we've ever seen. And therefore, if we do play this out, which I sincerely hope we don't, because it would be painful, but pain has never stopped me from continuing down this journey in crypto land. We take it on the chin, we accumulate more coins, and then we go to the moon later. And let's just go over really quickly on the other side of the coin why I am still really bullish that this year, not just this cycle, but 2024 ends up being supremely profitable for crypto traders. And specifically, if you have the cojones to buy the lows, wherever these lows do end up going. As Chris says, buying some, not selling, riding. Again, knowing that we could go lower, you don't want to empty out the tank right now. I thought that sub 60K price was the lowest we go. Maybe it is. We still haven't quite violated that 56K dip from a few months ago, but the direction of the market feels really heavy. So I'm just mentally ready. I have some new fiat that's just come in and I'm going to chuck it into my high conviction plays, which I'll talk about here at the end of the video whenever I do feel like, hey, we put in a low here on this move. To be crystal clear, Fu is still bullish. Thank you, Fu. Now, one of the beta leaders, Celestia, again, a favorite of this channel, which we covered at about $4.50, went all the way up to $20-something and then has just been down only. It's pretty funny. The negativity around this one is crazy because it was being hailed as the hottest thing since sliced bread. I know I certainly felt like the signal that this was one of the darlings of the bull run was there. It went up only and then now it's been down only. And we're comparing this here to the negativity around Sol at $2. If you remember that was late 2020. Sol was this hated coin. We talked about this in the last video. That's because Sol went 10x on the public market before crashing down 80%. And then it went something like 250x from there. Again, the problem here is that before Bitcoin really takes off, we can see decimation in the alts. And it looked like this year that we were going to get a much more rapid explosion in Bitcoin due to the ETF. We have not seen it yet. However, I still believe it's coming. Let's talk about why altcoin buys, while they are absolutely dead in the water right now, may not be dead in the water in the future. Certainly, I don't believe they will be, or I wouldn't be holding such an astronomical amount of my net worth in these assets. Again, I might be wrong, and I'm doing exactly what I say I'm doing here on this channel. And again, I will continue to do this, especially at major pivot points in the market, whether we're breaking up, breaking down, at range highs, range lows. I'm trying to bring you content at major decision points so that it can be the most informative and impactful without doing daily updates when there's not really anything to cover day by day. Now, finally, timeline is silent. This is true. Unfortunately, crypto Twitter is quite the counter indicator. When everyone's excited, it's usually a bad time to be buying coins. And when everyone is quiet, it's usually a really good time to be buying coins if you buy the right ones. Now, the timeline being silent in this case is a bullish factor. It's showing that we've seen some degree of capitulation, that we've seen some degree of hammering to the crypto spirit. But let's just be real. The German government is unloading tens of thousands of Bitcoin on our heads at the range lows the day before a holiday. This is not really feeling like a sincere dump. It feels like a forced dump after Bitcoin has been so weak. It's like the governments are coming in to try to drive a hammer home. Now, personally, whenever I see government actions being the reason for a crypto dip, I always think that it's an opportunity because governments typically, banks typically don't like the rise of Bitcoin as it tends to subvert their power structure to a degree. Now, Bitcoin growing and being another asset that people can invest into, fine. Bitcoin explosively taking over as a new strategic reserve asset, a little bit concerning. Unless, of course, you have potentially a brand new strategy, a strategy strategy that actually delves straight in and treats Bitcoin as the asset that it was designed to be, and you're the first major nation to do so. That's right. We are hearing for the first time that Trump is actually discussing Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. And this, again, I will have to say, has to be credited to Vivek Ramaswamy, who has been in the president's ear. And you saw as soon as Vivek bowed out of the race for the Republican nominee, he started buddying up with Trump. He never said a bad word about Trump. The entire election cycle, he was very precise to always be super positive because he knew Trump was going to get the nomination, and he was just creating a platform for himself by going through the campaign process. That said, since they've been chatting, Trump's understanding and sophistication and the topics he talks about with crypto have gotten deeper and deeper and deeper. And now he's talking about using Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. Can you imagine what would happen if the United States puts Bitcoin on its balance sheets? Could you imagine what would happen? The arms race, the forced arms race between every single country on earth, it would no longer be an option. If you have been a country that has not been acquiring Bitcoin, you have to start, or else you might effectively be left behind. That's the nature of parabolic momentum-based markets, is Bitcoin could fly up to a few $100,000, close to $1 million before your country starts accumulating, and you get completely left out of the race for the new strategic reserve asset of the world. That is potentially the world that we're looking at under a new DJT administration. Now, what's crazy is there's been so many rumors. Is Biden going to stay in the election? Is he going to drop out? Who's going to be the nominee? Who's going to be the VP? Who's going to win the Euro Cup? Yeah, everyone wants to know who's going to win the Euro Cup. But all of these have just been rumor form. No one really knows what to believe or where the reality is. But we've seen incredible results coming out of the decentralized prediction markets. That's right. Prediction markets like Polymarket have effectively become the platforms for anonymous insider leaks. For example, who will win the presidential election currently has $217 million bet. And you see here that Kamala Harris has flipped Joe Biden. And if you look at her surge, you can see that her surge has become a 15% vote. But if you look at the graph, it was down here at 1 cent, meaning 1% chance. And now it's flown up here to 16%. Whereas if you look at Joe Biden, he was up here as high as 45 cents just a few months ago, as high as 50 cents when this started. And now he's plummeted over the last few days. And so you can see as things change, behind closed doors in Washington, D.C., you can see that these odds are changing dramatically. You can also go ahead and see, is Biden going to drop out? Go ahead and give this a refresh because it changes all the time. You can see here an absolute spike up the day after the debate from about 20 cents all the way up to, 40, 60% over the last few days. And every time a new rumor circulates from Washington, D.C., we see whether it's true or false, really based on these decentralized betting markets. They're a source of truth that's actually quite interesting to see how they're sifting through the political noise and all of the spin going on in the media. And you're actually getting true bets. You're getting real money flowing based on a certain outcome. So right now, $10 million has Biden saying 62% chance of him dropping out. We have who's going to be the Democratic nominee. Kamala Harris was at 1%, and now she's up to 32%. I mean, it hasn't been announced, but this has been skyrocketing. It still feels undervalued considering it seems far more likely than any other candidate. Anyway, all this is to say that all of the things that Trump is saying about crypto hold a lot of weight because the chances are that if he's elected, he'll be in a chance now to help bring these policies at least to the SEC and probably the Treasury Department. All these are executive branch things that are really, really heavily controlled as far as their crypto concerned. So the sway of power back to Trump and the Republicans actually bodes incredibly well for crypto, but probably markets as well, because Trump has sworn to smash interest rates down to zero, which he may not unilaterally be able to do at first, but with his pressure and maybe even replacing Jerome Powell, he could make sure that that outcome actually happens. And that would mean a massive flow of money from Treasury markets, from money market funds and T-bills, which I believe is about $6 to $7 trillion into markets. It would be an absolute massive stimmy to markets. And here you see Putin even coming out and saying, hey, look, I'll talk to Donald. I won't talk to Biden, but I'll talk to Donald. You can see that Putin's ready to resume a dialogue with the United States under a new administration. Obviously, you can look at this however you want to look at this, but peace over in the Ukraine and Europe is a significant step forward and would be way, way better if the United States could start spending more money on its local economy versus stimulating wars overseas. Not that it needed to be even said now at this point, but election data from Open Labs is showing that, Trump is winning here a significant portion, 358 electoral college votes, which is way more than the 270 needed to win. Meanwhile, we also see NASDAQ actually hitting all-time highs. It's historically been a trend that when mainstream markets hit all-time highs, Bitcoin will follow shortly after. So as you can see here, the S&P is just absolutely ripping and Bitcoin's been falling. Where they normally move somewhat in tandem, this has been a big divergence. And I believe that divergence will be closed with Bitcoin catching up to new all-time highs like the S&P has done. Now, before we go any further, I have a quick update before I get into all the altcoins. As you know, the only altcoin that I really, really stand by is, of course, Superverse. And that's because I've been pouring blood, sweat, and tears into this project for many years. And I have absolutely no desire and no will to stop. I absolutely love captaining this project. And I'm very excited to say that Superverse is actually opening up a Discord. Now, whenever you do something like this, it opens up an attack vector for scammers. So be very, very careful to navigate only to the official Superverse Discord, not some fake imitation, but it is open and live right now. And we are actually giving away tens of thousands of dollars in super token, in NFTs, both for imposters as well as Elio Trades NFTs. That's right, the ones from way back in the day that have utility for governance within the Superverse world. Like I said, all of it is coming together. Come join in the fun. We're literally going to be saving GameFi. GameFi needs a hero. It needs its George Washington. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm the George Washington of GameFi. And the Bears are the British. And I think someone's the French. And anyone who doesn't hold super is Benedict Arnold. Pretty much anyone who doesn't hold super is Benedict Arnold. And he's the worst thing you could be. Anyway, the bullshit doesn't stop. Sony launching a crypto exchange. Dell Computers going to start micro-strategizing their bank balance, putting their bank balance sheet into Bitcoin. Public companies buying Bitcoin. Trump and basis crypto. State pension buying Bitcoin. Every bank buying Bitcoin. BlackRock buying Bitcoin in every single fund. And then you have the Bitcoin Ether ETF mix up. Again, the charts for ETH look like this right before the ETF, and everyone is bearish. Honestly, it feels like a gift. It's a really, really difficult gift to accept because it feels so painful because we're all down on our alts. But the market does seem to me to have a huge divergence between the catalyst and tailwinds and the price right now. The price is super weak, whereas all of the underlyings are getting stronger and stronger. Again, I can't predict exactly where price is going to go, but I can tell you that this feels like a massive, massive opportunity wherever these lows end up getting printed. Just to make sure you have the right link, of course, for the Discord, discord.gg/superverse chat. This is the only real Discord. Do not click on any fake Discord links on Twitter as a reply, something that looks like me but ain't me. If it even is me and I say something other than discord.gg says superverse chat, maybe my account has been hacked. So be freaking careful. This is the only real Discord. Everything else is an absolute scam. All right. So what am I buying at the lows? Where am I going to be injecting my precious precious fiat, my oh so precious fiat coins are going absolutely back into this crypto market because I believe so strongly in what's coming next. I cannot stop myself. If in 2026 nothing good has happened, this market hasn't resolved to the upside, and the 4-year cycle is a lie, maybe we can reevaluate there. But for now, we stick to the plan. And here's what the plan looks like for me. First of all, you have total economic value, which is fees plus MEV in June. Now you can dispute whether or not you think this is a good actual arbiter of value, but in this case, Solana is very close to Ethereum, right? Solana is $91 million, and at all-time high, Ethereum is at $160 million and 90% below all-time high. Just for easy math, say Solana is half of Ethereum, even though it's more like 60 something percent. All right, this is like 56%. I used a calculator. Don't worry, I can't do that in my head. But 91 million over 160 million, 56%. But it's really trading here at below 20%, 25% here. You know, this is one of the biggest Solana investors, but he thinks there's a mispricing in the market, and Solana should be 2x or so, maybe 3x bigger. Again, let's talk about the blue chips, because when the markets go absolutely nuclear like this, you want to get into the highest quality assets at the lowest price. You can wait till the market is super risk on to get into the DGen stuff. That's fine. You don't need to gamble to get your gains when the market resets like this. You want to get into the high quality stuff that was too expensive, had moved too fast for you at the beginning of the market phase. And that way, you know, when the market bounces, you're going to be in some stuff that's going to be bouncy and beautiful. Okay. The blue chip portfolio, in my opinion, is Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, and of course, Coinbase global stock. That's right. What's crazy is Coinbase usually acts like a little bit of a whisperer. It kind of front runs Bitcoin's price action. You can see here that it's still just consolidating in this range between essentially like 280 and 200, $300, right? It's got this big range it's formed, and it's still doing really well, which shows that the risk climate for crypto stocks is still there. And that crypto, you know, the native crypto coins and Bitcoin itself has just been much weaker than the actual sort of front running for this entire industry on the markets. Something to consider. It's something else that makes me structurally more bullish. But again, coin, Bitcoin, ETH, Solana. That's the 4 horsemen of this particular cycle, the safest bucket to actually enjoy the cycle from, in my opinion. And that's the blue chip category. Just ship it there. I did add a little bit of Robinhood, but again, I still have much more conviction in Coinbase because of all of their tentacles in crypto. You know, I'm just going to keep it real with you. I'm a big fan of gaming, as you know, until all these projects heat up, until everything starts moving. You know, the big 3 of Superverse, Immutable, and Beam. I think these 3, the charts are almost identical if you zoom out and look at them. Those are the projects that I most believe in. Again, I can't talk about price when it comes to Superverse, but I can tell you that the excitement around the project will not cease. It will only continue. And I highly encourage you, if you want to join a durable community that's going to bring the light in the darkness throughout this summer, no matter how long it lasts, as well as bring the excitement and fun in the good times, join Superverse now. Come join it. We're going to have an amazing community that keeps the vibes going throughout this entire period. And I believe that's how you end up winning. Full stop. Amazing community. No big VC unlocks, no token overhangs, no BS. It's a mature asset, okay? Not like a lot of the new tech. There's so many new coins coming that it doesn't matter if it's curing cancer, the thing's still going to dump. Again, these market resets are about getting back to basics, the absolute core positions only. Speaking of core, I do think Telegram, look at this. This is just an abnormal chart. Everything else is dumping like insanity, and it's just not. So I don't know what's going on here, but if this thing does take a dive down here, hopefully you get it. You know, I don't know if it's going to dive below this. Yeah, about a little under $5. It's such a hard thing because that was the prior peak of the last cycle. But if it gets close to this peak of the last cycle and, you know, under $5, I think that Telegram becomes a screaming buy. Again, it is really entering that blue chip category. As you guys know, I love me some Akash. This is one of my longest term AI holds. Again, this double top here is nasty, but it's coming down into a value range. I do think it eclipses its prior highs from the last cycle and does multiples of that eventually once this run gets started. Now for the memes, of course, I've been very conservative with the memes I've talked about here on the channel. I've only talked really about Bonk, Pepe, With, Mog, and a very few others, but I do believe that that category is pretty good. I mean, these memes bounce really hard, specifically Pepe, Mog, and With. Those are sort of the 3 that I would just kind of stick to if you want to be part of the meme thing. You have the upside of the memes, but you also know that these things are not just going to evaporate into dust, or at least we hope they don't. Again, any meme can, because any meme is controlled by a small group of anonymous, unknown actors. But the reality is the market wants memes this cycle. It's still the hottest thing to trade. And so whenever this thing bounces, I'm expecting Pepe, Mog, and With to have major bounces with that market. Of course, there will be other memes. That is true. But again, these are the only ones I'm talking to you about, because I think if you want to do the meme thing, but you don't want to literally just gamble, then you need to have some filters. For example, Billy is a new meme coin on Solana. I don't own any. It's the first meme to go to 100 mil market cap since Michi 2 months ago. Now listen up, this is an insane stat. Since Michi cracked 100 mil in late April, there have been 34 million meme coins created. 34 million memes since late April created, okay? So that means that you have a 1 in 34 million chance of catching a winner from a very early stage. So when we say that meme coins are like lotto tickets, they're literally lotto tickets. I'm sure some lotteries actually have better odds than 1 in 34 million. That's actually insanely small. So when I looked at memes and I looked at, hey, look, here's proven communities that are big, they've stood the test of time. I only bought into Mog after it had been ranging beautifully for like 6+ months. And it seemed like that thing had some long-term community support. Until I see that, I don't really feel comfortable buying into anything. And that's why with this insane new supply of meme coins, I think you got to go to the more established ones. I don't like to use the term blue chip memes because I don't think we know what a blue chip meme is besides maybe Dogecoin, but that's how I'm going to play it. That's my meme outlook, is that the older coins will continue to get the meme love, but the new coins will probably die off. I think it benefits things like Pepe, Mog, With. It benefits the more established memes, this new saturation of new coins, because it'll make it so that betting on these new coins is far less popular, whereas betting on the old ones is kind of the way that people will get their meme pumpy action going. This is the most gambling centric sector, so I have the least confidence in these. But again, I'm still holding all my Pepe, still holding all my Mog. I've only added to those positions over time. Now, finally, if you love America and you love freedom, you should love the fact that you have the freedom to protect your identity and your IP online with NordVPN, the sponsor of this channel. Shout out to NordVPN. As you can see, I always have
Whoa, talk about trying to drink out of a fire hydrant. But I was taking some notes, and hopefully you guys got something out of that. So, yeah, let's start. Jashawn actually messaged me earlier this week about the Germans, and they're dumping the Bitcoin. So that's where I heard it first. What are your guys' reactions on that? I mean, that's what typically got this thing going, right? What do you think, Jashawn? What was your analysis with this?
But he lost me when he said Washington's birthday was the 4th of July. So he sent me into a tailspin on Google, and I was like, what is going on with this? When is Washington's birthday, which is February 22nd? Obviously, that's President's Day, or the combination of the presidents. So he kind of lost me there. I'm not gonna lie, Johnny.
All right, so
He
we'll
was just
skip
joking
that.
around, man.
So the Germans, the Bitcoin, the dumping of the Bitcoin. That's what I want to cover first.
Yeah, and then Justin Sun actually, I don't know if he was legit, but on Twitter that he was saying that he'd buy it from him, so it wouldn't affect the price. But I think at one point this week they had only dumped like a fifth of what they had, so they had a whole bunch ready to just continue to dump. I don't know if they've dumped it all at this point or what, but combination of that and the Mt. Gox stuff, kind of like a mini black swan, sort of, so to speak.
Yeah, I think. I mean, look, when you look at it, in reality, we don't know if the German government's going to sell all their Bitcoin anyway. But it's only $2.4 billion worth. I mean, BTC volume daily is well north of 20 billion. So the market should have absorbed it. I think it's just the fear that it put into the market, which got normies to sell off. It's it's not an amount of Bitcoin that should, that should be absorbed in a day, even if they sold it all in one hit. So I don't think that, and I think also just the fear surrounding, $9 billion odd worth of Bitcoin coming from Mt. Gox in due course. But I mean, not everyone's going to sell that either. But it's just the fear surrounding it, and the market was on its knees a bit anyway. So I think this sort of just tipped things over the edge. But it's nice to see things have sort of rebounded. We've seen Bitcoin sort of come up from sort of 54.5 or thereabouts back up to 58. So a bit of a rebound, not out of the woods by any stretch, but nice to see some green on the screens.
Now, Brandon,
when I finally get my Bitcoins back from Mt. Gox, I am going to be selling some, but only for the purpose of diversifying into other coins. I'm going to pick up more ETH, more SOL, more SWI, more BNB, maybe even some more ZK, yo.
Please, sir, can I have some more?
Yes, sir, Mr.
I was if you guys watched my stream last night, I was noticing how even though everything, the whole crypto market is down so hard, like Bitcoin has not dropped as far in percentage from the all-time high as the other coins. So it's actually, if you think about it, if you're just swapping from Bitcoin to like you already have your Bitcoin and you're just swapping from that to these altcoins, you're actually getting a better deal.
Yes, the Bitcoin chart versus your altcoin is probably the one to watch there. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. But look, as I said, I don't think we're out of the woods by any stretch. But I mean, it was sort of peak sort of despair and FUD a couple of days ago, wasn't it? Even some of the most bullish sort of commentators, your Rands and what have you, they were all very, very negative. And all of a sudden, they're posting videos about how this is the greatest time to buy. So it's just amazing. The market can be quite bipolar at times.
Yeah, I mean, like BNB has already bounced pretty hard. It bounced almost 17% so far. That's the one coin that I did pick up a couple of BNB coins, but not as much as I wanted to get down there below 500. And now I noticed it last night. It was like 512, and I thought, man, maybe I should buy some more right here. And I wish I had, because now it's 528. But I did pick up a good amount of ETH, well below 3,000 a coin. So that was great. I'm not sure my lowest buy on SOL, but I think it was somewhere around 130, 131, something like that. So that's cool. That one has bounced a lot as well. Let's see. The bounce on SOL so far is 19%. So it's bouncing even harder than BNB. It doesn't look like a dead cat bounce either. It's already retraced, like, I mean, the dip on Sol was from 155 all the way down to 121, and it's already back at 143, almost 144. So it's not just like a little correction in a bear market. It's a straight up V-shaped reversal, you know. So seems like seems short-lived to me. Let's hope so.
Yeah, and I guess obviously if we see some more green on our screens in the next few days, all of a sudden a lot of people that have been very bearish and sitting out in stables or what have you, they've sold off in the recent months, start to feel they're going to miss the move, and they're going to get left behind, and that's when you get a little bit of FOMO kicking in.
Absolutely. People are kicking themselves for not picking up, for not buying the dip. So it's still, a lot of these coins are still well below their all-time high for sure. Well, they all are, so it's still an opportunity to buy at a discount, in my opinion. Not financial advice.
I was going to say great financial advice.
Yeah. I was going to, I was thinking about the stream earlier today, and I was thinking when Johnny introduces me for this show, I might say, hey, I'm excited to be here, and get ready for a boatload of financial advice. That's
well, I picked up some more Sui during the week. I was able to pick some up for around that 64-cent mark. So just been DCA.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. I did pick up some Sui myself. And I was thinking, I think I'm just going to hang on to the straight up coins rather than providing liquidity, just for a little while. If we get back into a very clear bull market trend, then I might, take pieces of it and provide liquidity for on the way up.
Yep.
All right. Well, before we get in too much in the woods on Sui, I got a couple other clips that I want to show some points of view on Sui as well. But a couple other things out of that initial video that I caught. Obviously, Trump supports crypto, so we want Trump back in office for sure. But what did you guys think about what he said about the war with Biden and in Ukraine? Biden saying that he will speak to Trump, but he won't speak to Biden. And if Trump could get in office,
you mean Putin?
Yeah, that's what Putin said it. Yeah.
Yeah, Putin said he will speak with Trump, but he won't speak with Biden. So if Trump takes office, ends the war in Ukraine, all that money that's going to that war would come back and go into the markets, is basically what he broke down to say. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think you have to watch the clip because it's more out of context, because it's directly referring to what President Trump said in the debate.
Yeah, I did end up watching the debate as well. After you guys said you watched it twice already.
I've got a clip for you, Johnny. I'll send it to you.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Were you gonna send it over in Telegram?
That's good, because I didn't even watch the debate. That's how out of touch I am. Of course, I can't vote because I'm a resident of Puerto Rico. No taxation.
But you're in Georgia, so you definitely can vote. Probably multiple times. Probably 3 or 4 times.
I'll put it in the private. I'll put it in the private chat, Johnny. It's interesting commentary on the debate.
It's definitely better the second time you watch it. I'll say that. At least I thought it was.
Okay.
Speaking of the second time, I'm replaying a great PS4 game called Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah. It's such a good game, and I want to play the original game again, because then after that I'm gonna play the Frozen Wilds expansion pack. So just another part of my spending some quality time away from my computer screen these days.
Isn't there 3 of them now?
Is there? I would love that, because it's a great game.
You know what? The thing that I have issue with, and I don't know if it's like, I mean, obviously it's like a mental thing, but it's like I can't play girl characters. Like I just can't do it. Like if it's not like, maybe I got like too used to like MMOs and creating your own character and making it the way that you like it. So it's like I find it very hard to play a character driven game where you are that character. and especially hard to play a female character. Like I
You know,
lose interest very
I'm
easy.
the complete opposite. Anytime I've started to play a game where you have to spend whatever amount of time at the very beginning of the game freaking selecting your character and what do his eyes look like and what does his hair look like and what kind of sandals is, I just fucking hate those. I hate those kinds of games where I have to do all that.
All right, well, I got this clip loaded up this coming to you from By These Dips. I haven't screened it yet, so let's see how it goes.
Well, I thought it'd be appropriate given we're talking about Biden and Trump.
Oh.
gelungen, die Front in breiter Formation zu durchbrechen. Im Süden hat der Gegner
Can you hear it?
genommen und stößt auf Stahnsdorf vor.
Yes.
Der Feind operiert jetzt am nördlichen Stadtrand zwischen Frohnau und Pankow. Und im Osten ist der Feind bis zur Linie Lichtenberg-Marsdorf-Karlshorst gelangt.
Mit dem Angriff Steiners wird das alles in Ordnung kommen.
Mein Führer.
Steiner konnte nicht genügend Kräfte für einen Angriff massieren. Der Angriff Steiner ist nicht erfolgt.
Es bleiben im Raum Keitel, Jode, Krebs und Burgdorf. Das war ein Befehl! Der Angriff Steiners war ein Befehl! Wer sind Sie, dass Sie es wagen, Sie meinen Befehl zu widersetzen? Und weit ist das einfach gekommen. Das Militär hat mich belogen! Jeder hat mich belogen, sogar die SS! Die gesamte Generalität ist nichts weiter als ein Haufen niederträchtiger, treuloser Feiglinge!
Mein Führer, ich kann nicht zulassen, dass die Soldaten, die für Sie verbringen...
Nicht als Feiglinge! Verreiter, Versager!
Mein Führer, was Sie da sagen, ist ungeheuerlich.
Die Generalität ist das Geschmeiß des deutschen Volkes! Sie ist ohne Ehre! Sie nennen sich Generale, weil Sie Jahre auf Militärakademien zugebracht haben, nur um zu lernen, wie man Messer und Gabel hält! Jahrelang hat das Militär meine Aktionen nur behindert. Es hat mich jeden nur Widerstand in den Weg gelegt. Ich hätte gut daran getan, von Jahren alle höheren Offiziere liquidieren zu lassen, wie Stalin. Ich war nie auf einer Akademie. Und doch habe ich allein auf mich gestellt. Ganz Europa erobert. Verräter. Von allem Anfang an bin ich so verraten und betrogen worden. Es wurde ein ungeheurer Verrat geübt am deutschen Volke. Aber alle diese Verräter werden bezahlen. Mit ihrem eigenen Blut werden sie bezahlen. Sie werden es saufen in ihrem eigenen Blut.
Bitte gerne. Jetzt beruhig dich doch.
I thought that was hilarious.
Classic.
That was great. Holy shit, I was almost crying. Oh boy. All right. Elliot also said Superverse. You into that at all, By These Dips?
No, look, I'm not. Look, it'll pump because Elio and In the Game and Ran, they're all going to pump it. But in terms of what's under the hood, I'm not a big fan. I think it's dramatically overvalued, to be honest. But I still think it'll pump. So, but it's not one that I hold. No, I think there's better gaming projects out there, much better.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, a couple of really good things that came out of that, a couple of bullet points you had. One big one, Sony getting in the game, starting a crypto exchange. That's got to be freaking bullish, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I haven't read up extensively on it, but yeah, I mean, it's certainly a bullish sign, no doubt, for the gaming sector.
Do you think that they can compete with like Coinbase or Binance, or you think it's sort of going to be a different sort of thing?
I think it'll be a different sort of thing from what as I said, I haven't dug deep into the weeds on it, but I think it'll be a different sort of thing. But look, there's no doubt that the demographic of gamers is appealing to exchanges or really anyone else who wants to onboard people into crypto, because you've got a monstrous audience. It's a young audience that sort of gets the technology or is more likely to get the technology. So I say more power to them. The more people that they can onboard, the better. It's just providing the rails, right, for them to get on board. It's one of the reasons, and I digress a little bit here, but it's one of the reasons I'm just so bullish on SUI, or SWI as it likes to be called. Their ideas around being able to onboard without crypto wallets and all this sort of stuff, and really going heavily after that gaming sector. I think it's just hopefully quite a powerful introduction for a lot of people, young people who've not been exposed to crypto before and love their gaming.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. What do you think, Brandon? How did you like the news hearing Sony getting into the game? Big brand like that.
I didn't really hear that, but I am into SWI. Are they using SWI, or are they getting into something else?
Like they're going to do their own exchange somewhere, I think in Japan.
Oh yeah, okay. I did hear a little news blip about that. I mean, any additional big companies like that setting up a centralized exchange is good, because everybody needs to on ramp.
But think about if Sony's running it and what Sony does, and then how they could integrate that into the platforms that they currently have.
Yep. I mean, they're big into gaming, right? Is it it's PlayStation is from Sony, right?
Sony,
yes.
Also music.
Yeah.
Sony movies,
music, all. I mean, basically just a huge powerhouse company, all the way around. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see a big name brand like that come into the space, I think, especially having their own crypto exchange. I just think it's going to be awesome. And hopefully it comes to fruition soon. Another thing too is getting in the game is Dell. I'm getting a Dell. Remember the old commercials? I'm getting a Dell. The computers. So basically, the little bit of stuff I heard about that is basically it's like a Michael Saylor sort of deal, right? That Dell's going to start investing and start having some of their holdings in Bitcoin, which is another interesting catalyst that's going to be coming into the market soon. So that with all the ETFs and stuff, I think the crypto's here to stay. Nonetheless, so this little bit of fear in the market right now, I think, like we talked about backstage, has been a blessing, really, because we've been able to scoop up some tokens at a discount, so hopefully everybody got a little DCA action in and, got some of the tokens you've been holding for and waiting for, and you got some price points that were comfortable for you. Speaking of SUI, I know you guys are dying to get in the SUI, so let's go in and get a clip here by my man himself.
I'm dying for the tsunami. Let's go.
My main man.
Let's check out my man Supa talking his way about SUI.
Compared to some of the layer 1 competitors, this is superior. Next, SUI. So SUI is my Solana for this cycle, right? Now, I believe that SUI can get to around about $25 to $30. So that would make it around about 30 to 40. So I believe that that's what it can achieve, and I want to be part of the. Now, I do own quite a lot of SUI. As you know, I bought it at the cycle low. I bought it at 39 cents. Did I buy enough? No, probably not. The reason being is because I thought it was going to go lower. I thought everything was going to go lower. It didn't, right? So I kind of left it. It did go up to $2, right? But it's now retraced to around about 2x where it got to as a low, just above 2x, which means that I think it's got a lot of potential ahead of it. And a lot of the whales have sold this to buggery. So I think it's got a lot of legs in it once the market gets going. And I do believe that layer 1 crypto is going to do very, very well regardless, particularly because of probably ETF speculation, but also because the general market is going to go up. Bitcoin's going to lead the way. Then it's going to be large caps. Then it's going to be mid caps. And, and that's going to lead to a big surge in some of the layer 1s that are promising new layer 1s to the bull market. Next.
All right. So there's Supa's opinion on Sui. He's saying $25, $30 easy. Now, this one's really going to blow your guys' mind. And this just came out a few hours ago. And this is our boy, Jake Crypto. And wait till you hear this. This really blew my mind. This is a good one. You guys are going to like this.
Sui, you might be asking why I've got this random person here. This guy is called Luke Belmer. He made a fuck ton of money on the coin PancakeSwap in the last bull run.
Before it was ever listed on Binance, I was already buying tens of thousands of units of cake, staking them. When I was staking them on PancakeSwap, like the finance website, I think the APY was like 14,000%. That's when it started. It was like ridiculous. So I became the top 10 holder of PancakeSwap in the entire world. And I rode that from like $25 million market cap to 2.6 billion.
And what I can see is Sui is the next PancakeSwap, right? And that's why I hold a decent amount in Sui. Now, the reason behind Sui is you're at about 80 cents here. So I'm give or take break even on this, but I do have pools printing. I have 3 pools in this in Turbo Finance platform. I've got wide ranges, so all my plays are doing well. I'm not accumulating the most amount of yield, but again, this coin has been stable-ish. But again, if you look at PancakeSwap in the last bull run, this is where Luke Belmer got rich, right? He was investing heavily here, lots of money, and he rid this all the way up in the bull run. Now, PancakeSwap could still be a great play, but if you look at the market cap of 591 million compared to 96, you'll give or take a 5.5x off its previous, market cap compared to PancakeSwap. So for me, looking at what Sui does, again, look at the website visitors. You're chilling at about 500,000. So there's 500,000 people on this website every single month. Okay, it's a lot of people. And if you look at the TPS and how it compares to other blockchains in the game, what these guys are doing with developing, etc., I think Sui for me is a great play. Again, I would look at Sui more. I would compare it to PancakeSwap. I would really go and maybe watch Luke Belmer's story with PancakeSwap and how he got rich with that. And this all just comes down to taking massive bets on a few coins. I've got massive bets on HBAR. I've got massive bets on Bitcoin, Ethereum. I know they're going to do well. I've got a decent size, bet on Brett, and I've got some other plays as well, like Illumium, etc. But for me, Sui's a no-brainer. I would go and have a look at it, and then you can, get yield on it if you want. Why not? Because you're already holding it, and it just makes a lot of sense. Now, Sui coin had a fantastic rip in 2023, October-ish. You went from 30 or so cents, and you ripped. You had a fantastic run. Bitcoin was running, everything's running about 5x. Now, 80 cents could be a great buy. Again, the lows could be another 50% down. Again, it just depends what Bitcoin can do. But again, for me, it's still a great play. Now, Render, this seems to be the one that...
What did you guys think about that? You think this is going to have that kind of potential like PancakeSwap did in the last bull market?
Well, PancakeSwap, cake is a reward token that inflates in supply from the master. So I don't agree with the analogy. I don't think Sui is anything.
It's a weird comparison, actually.
I think his only comparison point is he's saying that guy got in early, invested a lot, and made a bunch of money, which I think you can still do. And even the tokenomics are nowhere close.
I mean, I've been saying for a while here on this show, I think it's, I think a better comparison is Solana of the last cycle. I think it's the Solana of this cycle. You're sort of comparing apples with apples there, and where Solana sort of ripped from $1 or $2 up to $250, $270 or whatever it did in its all-time high. I think, Sui's got that sort of potential.
And it's about to get faster.
I'm buying some more right now.
So they have the Mysticeti update. I think it's going to hit somewhere in the middle of July. It's on their testnet now, which is going to make it even faster. It's already pretty much the fastest blockchain. It's going to make it even faster.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I think, like you're saying, the better analogy would have been BNB, because obviously it's a blockchain token, not a DEX token, right? But I think, like Jay was saying, if the idea is get in early, like this range, and then ride it up next bull market, we potentially see. But even like when Elio was talking about Solana in that last phase, where it was at $2 at one point, and look how high it went. That's what I want to see. Basically, at the end of the day, we're still live.
Yeah, we're still live.
Okay, I thought we froze up there for a minute. But at the end of the day, what I want to see is after the bull market when you get all these influencers coming out and saying, if you would have put $1,000 into Sui in 2024, you would be up to $258,000 today. That's what I can't wait to see. And
Well, I mean, Avalanche pulled a similar move to Solana, right, in the last bull run as well. I mean, it could do something similar. I think it's really, really possible. Really possible. I wouldn't want to bet against it, put it that way.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it all pans out. And I actually bought some more Sui this week. I didn't get in at 64, but I did get in at 66. I should have probably bought on Friday, but I ended up buying today, actually this morning. And it was actually dipped down to, it was at like 67. It dipped down to 66. I got in. Now, it was a big DCA this week for me because I just crossed the 5,000 mark on Sui. I just crossed over 5,000 Sui.
Boom.
Woo! That's a big milestone for me, you know.
LFG.
Yeah, let's go. So yeah, to the next 5,000. That's what I'm going for next. I want to try to get another 5,000 Sui before, you know, we start really seeing some decent upside. You know, if I can get it all in under $1, I'd be freaking ecstatic. You know, I mean, I was doing some numbers earlier and I was just rounding out, you know, like everybody's got to get in where they fit in. Average American household income is 67.5, you know, so if you break that up in weekly, that's about $1,300 a week, give or take, you know. So if you got $1,300 a week, that your average bills per month are about $1,700 if you rent, you know. So you break that down, what's left to invest, right? So if you can come up with a dollar cost average and you're putting in anywhere from $200 to $300 a week into crypto investing, that's doing pretty goddamn good if you ask me. You know, I mean, if you're up over $1,000 a month that you can put aside and invest in crypto, you're probably going to end up doing pretty goddamn good. So, you know, you got to get in where you're fitting. I don't care if you're starting with $10, $20, $50, $100, it doesn't matter. The important thing is just to get a strategy and get started, DCA all the way, hold for the long term, and that's where you're really going to let the profits come to you, let the gains come to you in time, because it's not timing the market, it's time in the market. And that's what I got to say for right now.
You had a lot of good ones there. I like that one. Get in where you fit in.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Sounds a lot like financial advice.
Yes. This is the Saturday night financial advice live stream.
Are you ready for some Sui or what?
We're ready for some Sui.
I am now. I just bought some more.
All right, I'm going to be bouncing all over the place here for a minute. So give me a second.
Cetus, I need to go change my USDC BNB into USDC.
All right, hold on here.
Wormhole.
Is it this link is what you want me to hit, Jay? Or?
No. While you were talking about DCAing, FlowX now has limit orders. So if you had a limit order in during that drop, you could have snagged. I think it hit 58 cents overnight if you would have had a limit order in.
That would have been a good DCA price, 58 cents.
But that is a nice feature that FlowX is running right now. That's the link that I put in the private chat. Okay, here. I got too many windows. All right, so talking about, we mentioned this before, but in line with what Sui's building, because we talked about Sony and integration perhaps with some crypto. They're building this handheld device, the Sui Play 0x1. I think Johnny listened to it. The team did a Twitter space. Was it Friday, Johnny?
Yeah, it was. It was yesterday, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the one thing I really like about the team is there's several members. First off, the guy that created the Move language, which Aptos and Sui are based off of, is one of the founders of Sui. But Adonai was on there, and he was talking about some of the stuff that they're going. August, September, they're going to have some type of conference where they're going to really be pushing this, the opportunity to pre-order this, and how it's going to integrate. Not only will you be able to play Sui games on this, but the goal is that you'll be able to play your normal style video games, kind of like a Steam Deck, but also games on other chains. They also talked about the integration of native stable coins, which are coming. They couldn't really get too much into it. That's coming. They talked a little bit about lowering the requirement to run a validator. I think that's coming. Initially, when they created the chain, they purposely made it kind of steep to run a validator because they wanted to make sure that they were very high quality validators that were running. A lot of stuff that's really coming, but you can go here, put your email address in. They'll send you a link or whatever when it comes up. But this thing looks pretty badass. It kind of also reminds me a little bit of what Solana did with the Solana phone. Even
That's
the
exactly
version,
what I was going to say.
Even the version 2 of that. If you would have pre-ordered the version 2 of that phone, I think you're close to ROIing already. Because if you own the version 2, even though they haven't shipped the phone, they're already airdropping you tokens. So I've been hitting myself for not grabbing the version 2 order of the Solana phone. But anyway.
So do you think they'll do something similar to what happened with the Solana phone, where in the fullness of time, owners of the device get airdrops?
I think if you're a game, like let's say you're a game, then you build on Sui and someone owns this system, I think that you're going to get a perk from the game somehow, maybe in the form of an NFT or the form of a token. There's something that you'll definitely be getting some types of perk. So let me just jump over here. I'm gonna stop sharing that. I'll show you guys some other cool things here. Okay, so there's a thing called Sui Link. Let's see if it loads up here or not. These are my Sui links. So what you can do here is right now this supports Solana and ETH, but if I hook, let's say my Rabby or my MetaMask, and then I go ahead and hook Phantom Wallet as well, and then I hook up my Sui wallet, I basically can link my Solana address and my ETH address to my Sui address. So someone can look up my Sui. Let's say that there's a game I want to play on Solana, but I want to play it on that device that we just looked at. Or there's a protocol that's building on multiple chains, and they want to reward me on my other addresses. I can basically link these addresses, which Solana and ETH are the first two to demonstrate this, but there'll be more. So potentially your Sui address can be linked to all your other addresses through this Sui link, which basically opens up the opportunity to do these cross-chain games, cross-chain platforms, where your one Sui address links to all of these. So this is, you can see one of my ETH addresses that's linked, and then one of my Solana addresses that is linked to my Sui address. And this is completely free to do. I think there is some gas fee associated on ETH. I can't remember if there was a fee or you just sign a transaction. But these actually will show up as NFTs inside your Sui account to create this link. So this is a pretty cool feature, which is in line with that Play device that we just talked about, and with what they're trying to build with this interoperability between blockchains and then bringing in adoption to the Sui network.
Very cool, my friend.
They also are running a testnet right now. So the main bridge that I use is Portal Bridge. I know a lot of people are using Simple Swap, stuff like that. They are working on a native bridge from ETH right now. If you can test it on the Sepola ETH, I think is what it is. You can test it back and forth now. I think if you do test it, you may have the opportunity to get some Sui. I'm not really sure on that, but I'll put the link to that in the private chat here in a second. But I want to talk a little bit about a couple games.
Well, before you're getting them ready, there was one more thing too that they mentioned yesterday in the AMA or whatever it was on Twitter, the Spaces. But they mentioned, remember our old pal Spritz?
Oh yeah, that you're right, 100%.
Yeah, Sui is soon going to be available on Spritz. And Spritz, if you guys remember, I'm a big advocate of it. You can pay your credit cards on Spritz. You can use your crypto virtual card. So you got your Spritz virtual card here that you can use and load it up with crypto, fund it with crypto. Not only can you do anything on your Rabby wallet now and your MetaMask wallet, but you're actually going to be able to, coming soon, you'll be able to use your Sui as well and be able to use on Spritz.
As well as buy Sui with USD from Spritz.
Yeah, that is correct. But depending on which state you live in, if you're in the U.S., might want to add that. But yeah, we love Spritz here. So if you guys didn't know, I'll put a referral link for you in the chat and check it out. But it does work. It works good in the U.S. I think it's available in Canada as well now, and it might be even overseas by now.
Yeah, the guys on that, they were super pumped about that feature.
Oh, you can off-ramp your crypto right through Spritz, right to your bank account. You can pay any bill, including electric bill, house mortgage, phone bill. You can pay your credit cards. I mean, the stuff's limitless on what you can do on that app. It's a very good platform.
Nice.
And it's usually around 2% fee or so.
All right, let's talk about some games.
Let's do it.
All right, I'm over here on Twitter. We've talked about this before. This is the X Society official Twitter. They're currently running this quest, which I'm going to post a link to the private chat, which is a referral code, which I'll post here in a second. But they're basically a bunch of different things that you can do to accrue points. You can link your wallet. This is a pretty interesting game because the NFTs are on ETH. The game itself is going to be played on SWI. And then I believe their token's actually on Polygon. So you have 3 different networks all functioning here. But this, and within 3 days, they had 25,000 people in this campaign. I've got my boys on this campaign, and I've been in it doing a bunch of different things. The game looks phenomenal. We've looked at it before. I'll show you guys a video in a second. I'm going to jump over to this one. So again, they're kind of highlighting this quest thing, which I'll put a referral. They're going to give out some of their token, 4 million NTX, which is the token associated with the game, how it's built for gamers, some NFTs and some other stuff. And then from July 15th to the 22nd, they're running this 8-day tournament, which you can go to register to. And then basically there'll be 2 different daily sessions. And again, there'll be prizes where they'll be giving away the NTX token, exclusive weapon skins, in-game NFTs, a whole bunch of stuff. There's 2 different websites for that. I'll put both of those links in the private chat.
Hey, Deshaun, when Coinly SWI API?
Yeah, we're going to have to ask that. I was going to... Actually, Johnny messaged me, said we should have asked it on the live. All right, let me go over here. So when you go there, this is what the campaign looks like. You can see I got 10 points over here. You'll get 10 points for going to Twitter. You get points for all this different things. It's all integrated into their website. I've got about 160 points. This is on my ETH wallet. Didn't cost me anything. You just have to sign a transaction. There's no ETH fees. And then you can see the leaderboards up here. So you're actually fairly early because the leaders only got 326. So this is what this looks like. If you hop over to the other link, which I'll post here in a second. Let me see if I can get this thing to fire up. Come on. Can you see anything on your end, or is it a gray screen?
No, we can see it, but...
What's it look like?
Looks like a bunch of different posts. It says go to post. Oh, now it's loading.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't load very quick on my computer. Probably because I got like 85 tabs open right now.
That and all that crypto mining you do.
Yeah, well, I don't mine on these computers. I almost bought another Caspa miner, but I couldn't. I didn't pull the plug.
Hey, is that another coin I should buy? What's your financial advice on CAS?
It's held up well.
I mean, it's held up. It's held up brilliantly. You've got smart contracts to come, big exchange listings to come. It's an absolute no-brainer.
No-brainer.
That's
I want to express a thought process on that as well once Deshaun's finished.
Yeah, this isn't going to load. I'm just going to jump to a different tab. This is OpenSea, where you can buy the NFT. This is actual game footage. I think the floor price is just under, it's 0.08 ETH, or no, 0.09 ETH. The best offer is 0.81. You can buy these NFTs now. When you do go to the link that I'm going to put in the chat, when it actually loads, you can either pre-register without an NFT and kind of go through the process. If you have one of these NFTs, you don't have to do the pre-register. And if you participate in the event, if you hold an NFT, your rewards will be greater because you hold an NFT. If you do hold an NFT as well, and you go to their Discord, you can get 5 different codes that you can provide to people, which will also provide a boost for them if they play in the playtest as well.
Boost.
just quick, we'll take a look at this. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. Let me know if you can hear the volume. This is just one of the game modes, and my screen's not that great, and neither is the internet, so it looks a lot better than this when you actually are playing it. But the game looks pretty smooth. They've been developing it for quite a while. They've got developers from big studios that are working on it. So I'm going to drop these links right now, Johnny, if you want to post them. The first one is going to be the quests where you can get the token, and then the next one is where you can sign up for the playtest, which is coming up next week, where you can earn NFTs and also the token. All right, I'm going to look at one other game here quick, and then I've got two other things. All right, give me a second. Okay. So this is another game, completely different style. They have this on iOS and also on Android. Let me just find the window here. I'm playing this in browser right now.
Make sure you share your screen again.
Yeah, I had to find it. I got like 1,000 screens. Can you see it? So you can log into this just with an email address. You connect your Sui wallet. Here's my Sui wallet. I don't have an NFT, but you can go to Tradeport. You can actually buy the NFT and you can play your NFT in game. This is just the character that's automatically created for me. This is not going to be like Horizon Dawn. Like, it's going to be the exact opposite. But you can play this game very easy, very laid back, simple. You only play it with the left mouse button. So wherever I drag the left mouse button, he just does whatever. So like right here, he's just going to come chop down some wood. I can take the wood over here to this wood shop. Goes in here. I can come back over here. There's some different shops. And then they kind of have this little thing, build a blacksmith, right? So I can come over here. I need 14 wood. It automatically just goes in there. Now I've got a blacksmith and I'm earning these tokens. This is also the same company that made the Panzer Dogs game, which is another game that you can play on Sui. It's also is NFT related. But this is just very easy, very simple game. You can get it on the iPad. You can get it on Android. I could see like my kids really enjoying this game, but I just sat here to test it out, and it's super simple. Kind of relaxing, kind of mind-numbing, just whatever. But this is just another example of a game that is on Sui. This is a beta version. And then they're going to be launching a token called Koban. Koban's going to be a gaming token for both this game and also the Panzer Dog one. So I will post another link. They're having a Zealy contest that's going right now where I think you can get an airdrop of the Koban token. So I'll post that in the chat if anyone's interested. But this one's just, it's fun, it's simple. If you have kids, I think that they would enjoy it. And I could, just because of how easy it is to play and the fact that this is going to be a mobile game, it's already on mobile, this could have some decent appeal.
Did you guys hear about the new Warrior Rush game from the Warriors DAO?
I heard it on your podcast.
Yeah. I got to get my daughter to play that because I suck at those kinds of games, but she's absolutely a monster at those kinds of games. Those idle games where you're just like running along.
So this studio is Lucky Cat. I'm gonna put the link to that for the Zealy in here if anyone's interested. Let me see, what else do I have going on over here? So if anyone does want Sui names at SNL at DeFi, please let me know, because I think we will send them out. So if anyone has a SWE address that's listening, any of the 5 people that are on, if you do want a SWE's name with it'll be .SNL and DeFi, post your SWE address and we'll send them out to you for sure. I do want to talk a little bit about some of the V3 that's going on over here. So let me just go here. Man, this thing does not go in order. So here we're over on CETUS. So when we actually had the price dip, look at the volume. 79 million, 65 million, where your normal days are about 35, 33, 35. And then today, since the price is coming back up, we've only had about 20 million. So if you were in a range in these pools, you were making a crazy APR. I sent Johnny a screenshot. I think it was yesterday. This was up over 570%. I mean, granted, you had to have a range where you would catch it, and a lot of it was people just selling their SWE. But even right now, it's at 154%. One of the things to consider was CETUS and then FlowX as well. FlowX, at least, these APRs don't have the incentives that you're getting locked in there. So a lot of the SWE DEXs have mining rewards because they're still trying to encourage people, bring people over into the ecosystem. So this 154% APR, but you're also getting 14,000 SWE per day, 32,000 CETUS per day that's being rewarded to you for providing liquidity. One of the other things that I've seen on a lot of these DEXs is when you do get a sell-off like that, a lot of people pull their liquidity, they go out of range, maybe they sell off, but what you do see is a lot of times these liquidity pools lower. Well, when you have pools that are heavily incentivized, as the liquidity goes down, this doesn't. These normally stay static. So the percentage that you can take of these mining rewards or the incentives is going to go up as the liquidity goes down. So if this pool, for example, goes up to 16 million in liquidity, then the incentives that you're going to get will be cut in half. I mean, obviously it'll depend on the range that you're in, because they still do distribute it based off your ranges. But the more liquidity you have in here in general, if the volume doesn't keep up, then the incentives are making up for a lot of this APR. If you go over to Turbos, we got about 124% APR, but again, you're also being incentivized with SWE. If you go back several months ago when the APRs were a lot higher, instead of 31,000 per week, I think it was 55,000 per week. So the incentives have gone down quite a bit on Turbos, even though the liquidity is very low. And you'll see the volume is pretty low as well. If you go over to FlowX, they only have two pools that are V3, the USDT, USDC, and then you have the one over here, 124% APR. There's only 49,000 staked in the V3 version, yet it's highly incentivized. But again, if this 49,000 goes to 100K, those incentives get cut in half. So one of the big things in the points why I'm talking about this is that you don't really get a sense of a true APR in a lot of these pools because they're so heavily incentivized. So just consider that when you're looking at the SWE USDC pairs. These are the 3 major DEXs that I would be on. I probably wouldn't be providing liquidity on any of the other ones, not financial advice. Right now, the majority of my liquidity that I'm still running is in FlowX, just because the APR and the incentives, they're pretty good, and I'm at a decent range. And then let's see, I got one other thing. So this week on a lot of different, I've seen a lot of different YouTubers talking about having plans and having this, and I've seen a lot of whiteboard stuff. And what's the channel that we always talk about, Johnny? I can never remember it. Crypto Labs Research, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they do a lot of stuff with whiteboards and talking about strategy, well beyond what I'm going to show you. But I kind of put together, based off the thinking and kind of how I run my passive income strategy, I threw together a whiteboard using Figma. So if you haven't used Figma, I'm using the free version. I'm using a thing called FigJam, which I'm going to show you here in a second. So this is something that I made this afternoon. It's super easy to use. I will say at work, I do use whiteboards quite a bit, but I use the Microsoft whiteboards in Teams. This is way easier to use than that. But just to give you an idea, there's no specific pools in here. It's just to kind of give you an idea. If you were putting a strategy together, which I think is the number one thing that you should do, regardless of the pools that you're in, regardless of whether you're hodling long-term, regardless of whether you're going to do some passive income, having a strategy and sticking to that strategy, I think is the key, right? So in this, what I try to put together is, for me, I'm more focused on a lot of the passive income stuff right now. So if I was going to put together a pool, so in this, I'm going to walk through it, but I guess in this chart or whiteboard, I'm using a sample of if I had $10,000 to deploy. You can use any number you want. I just use 10,000 because it made it super simple. So basically over here, I just did a couple of different samples. If this was my daily APR, like 0.5, 0.75, 1, 1.25, 1.5, obviously it's going to depend on the pool that you're in. It's going to depend on the volume, so many factors. But if you're just kind of trying to figure out a strategy, you can use something like this to draw it out. And when I say this is very easy to use, I drew this whole thing out in about 6 minutes. So basically, if I had one V3 pool over here, let's say I'm using a quarter of the 10 grand that I was going to deploy. If I was getting 0.5, it'd be approximately $12.50 a day. And then as you can see, these are the different numbers. So if you were able to get a decent range and maintain these percentages, this is what you could somewhat estimate what you would get. Obviously, there's going to be fluctuations. If you deploy 2,500, it's not going to stay at 2,500. It's going to move back and forth. But essentially, if you had 4 different pools, these are what some of the numbers would look like. If you had exactly this numbers, obviously all hypothetical, at 0.5 on your daily, you'd get about $50, 75 at your 0.75, 100 at your 1.25, you'd be at 127, 1.5, you'd be 150. So you do see some decent increases as you go up what seems like kind of small percentage. You have a quarter of percentage only going up, but you're seeing some decent jumps. And then over a month, what would that look like? 1,500, I'd take an extra 1,500 a month, 2,250, 3,000. Obviously, you can change your numbers and you can organize this any way you want. But the other thing to think about is once you get that, what do you do with it? And do you have a plan for it? So I think a lot of times, or at least I know in the last bull run, I had no plan, or I compounded it back in endlessly, where now I have a plan. So we were talking about this a little bit pre-stream, where it's like, because of the V3 pools that I'm in and the strategy that I'm in, I mean, I didn't even blink an eye when we had that last dump. I went out of range very small, very, very, very small on several of my pools. But because I was going to DCA into SWE anyway, I just bumped the bottom of those ranges and went right back in. And all of my pools are functioning very similar to this, somewhere in the 0.75 to 1.25 range, which is just a great passive income strategy for me. Obviously, you have to do what you want, whatever I guess is best for you. But once you get those daily earnings, there's so many things that you can do with those things. You can change the percentages, but this is just to give you an idea. You can contribute it back to your bull run portfolio, which percentage of mine does. You can compound your position. Personally, I'm not doing that. I've set a certain amount aside, and that's the amount that's for passive income. I choose not to compound my positions. You can create new positions with it, which means you're always creating something new. You start with 4, then you go to 5, then you go to 6, then you go to 7. So many things that you can do. The single side lending, I know we talk about that a lot on here with SweLend and what we're doing. So for me personally, I'm using the single side lending to help build my bull run portfolio, and then at the same time getting a small APR with my assets in SweLend, which for me, I'm focused on SWE and ETH, and then accruing points for potential airdrop down the road. You can also convert it to fiat, pay your bills, whatever you need, use Spritz, like Johnny was just talking about, or you can swap it for another asset. But this is just one of the tools that I find helpful to me, because I can basically put my strategy out, lay it down, and then just keep following it. And again, this is just on Figma, super easy to use. This is completely free. Just logged in with my Gmail and was able to create this in about 5 minutes. So not necessarily promoting this strategy, but just promoting the idea that have a strategy, stick to that strategy, and use tools like this, or whether it's Excel or a spreadsheet or even a notebook, to write down what that plan is, track what's working for you, what's not working for you, and then stick to what works. And that's kind of all I had, I think, for this week.
Oh, that was really good. I liked how you laid that out. And yeah, definitely got to have a strategy. Well, I think we might have lost Brandon there, but good stuff for sure. Good stuff. What did you think by these dips?
Yeah, no, all good, my friend. It's really important to have that strategy. I mean, no matter what it is, you've got to have one. And I think with this bull market as well, set yourself some targets to scale out of your positions as well. It's one thing to be able to buy. One of the hardest things to do is actually sell, because it's easy to get caught up in all the FOMO and excitement and things going to the moon. You've got to be able to take chips off the table and realize your profits.
Plan your trade and trade your plan.
That's it.
Yeah, like ladder out, and then maybe because I use it too much at work recently, but I've been a big fan of the whiteboard stuff, and you can ladder out, do all kinds of crazy stuff on there.
I know Mr. Big had a request that I set up the whiteboard behind me with a ladder out strategy for Suey, but I forgot to do my homework. So we'll get it for you next week, Mr. Big. You're MIA today anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like laddering out with Suey though. Like we could talk about this real quick, and then I want to get on my other train of thought. What I was thinking earlier with Caspa. So why don't we go to the Caspa one first, because this was interesting. And Buddy's Dicks can back me up on this, because Kyle Chassé, right, always talks about, when you're going up through and you're taking profits, and you're taking profits anyways, but he's a big advocate of why don't you take profits into Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin is a great store of value. It's a great asset to hold long term. So if you're taking profits in your other altcoins, you should be taking in Bitcoin. Now, my thought process with that, instead of taking profits into Bitcoin, would it be a great idea to take profits into Caspa, being that it's a similar token to Bitcoin? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, it depends where you are in the cycle. I've tended to take profits into stable coins, to be honest, and wait for other opportunities if they come up. But I think it just depends where you are in the cycle. I mean, if you're selling, say, SWE at $20, it's probably the market's probably getting to the real frothy stage if that's the case, and I'd be looking at taking chips off the table altogether. But yeah, it just depends where we're sitting in the cycle, I guess.
I was going to say, it depends on where you're taking profits from. And I agree with Bizy Dips, like where is it? Where are we in the bull market cycle? For me, I'm able to take profits from Stable Swap or income from Stable Swap. And I'm not buying any Bitcoin. I'm putting it into, like I said, BNB, ETH, Sol, SWE, maybe some Caspa as well, with the idea being if and when the bull market comes back and gets into full frothy mode, those coins are going to have a lot more better performance than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is really safe. And I do plan to leave some of my Mt. Gox Bitcoins as Bitcoin, but a lot of those coins I'm going to convert into something that will perform better.
Yeah, most definitely.
History probably shows us. There's been enough cycles now that the best time to buy Bitcoin is at the really the lows of the bear market. It tends to be the first that rebounds, and then once you've made some money on your Bitcoin holdings, you can sort of just start distributing that into sort of higher risk plays. And I think that's kind of where we're at now. I think Bitcoin's strength versus alts, I think, is probably reaching its sort of limit. And I think you'll find that, in the coming months, alts will make a big fight back. I think there's more upside in alts from here.
But you believe that Caspa is a token that's just as strong as a store of value as Bitcoin?
Definitely not. Definitely not. I mean, Bitcoin is the ultimate store of value in the crypto sphere. Caspa is a very new token. It's not battle tested in the same way. It doesn't have the same adoption. Doesn't have the same market cap. I wouldn't compare I don't think they're comparable. In saying that, I think Casper's got a huge upside, and I think the fact that the price has held up so remarkably well over these last few months is really testament to its holders and their belief in the token moving forward. I mean, there's a lot of good things to look forward to it. We mentioned smart contracts coming, and also the fact that it's on, none of the major exchanges really. There's no Coinbase, there's no Binance. These are all things that are ahead of it, and they should be sort of positive things, catalysts for the price. I would assume, but I'm not selling any Casper. If it's been able to hold up during these last few months, gee whiz, it could really fly in the coming few months.
I mean, to answer it a little bit of a different way, do I think if you buy at 17 cents, are you still going to be in profit and get some X's out of it? Yeah, sure. You definitely will. Now, where it goes long term, I think that's going to depend on when it gets these major exchanges. What does the adoption look like? How do smart contracts function? And then, interestingly enough, the stuff that happened last week, that was the KRC20s, which was like the similar version to BRC20s. That wasn't really the full smart contract release. That was a different protocol that was trying to mimic BRC20s on Casper. So they had a little bit of difficulty with that, but that wasn't the actual smart contract release and the DeFi that you're going to see on Casper. That was basically KRC20s, the same way they had BRC20s.
Yeah, I think just in terms of store of value, I mean, there's really, I say 1.5 stores of value in crypto. I really think it's Bitcoin, and I think Ethereum has started to state a case for a store of value narrative, given that they have their burning mechanism, which is keeping the inflation of their token in check. And I think there's definitely a store of value narrative emerging with Ethereum. But I think anything outside of that, I don't think you can seriously say it's a strong, anything else is really a strong store of value, no matter whether it's a fixed token supply or not.
Yeah,
it's what the market perceives has the value in that sense.
A real blue chip at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Is it, can Casper have the ability in the future years to come to be considered a real blue chip crypto in the space? I guess is what we're trying to future crystal ball here, is like, does it have that kind of staying power and popularity to get to that point? I mean, I know, you look at the blue chips and, you got your Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, maybe, Solana, obviously. Solana's number 3 now, right? And also another huge token that I keep hearing and everybody keeps talking about, and I'm surprised we don't talk about it more on here and we don't go more to this, but is Toncoin, with Telegram. I think that's going to be another huge coin this next bull market. And what are you guys' thoughts of that? How come we ain't going after that token?
I mean, I think because of Telegram itself that there's appeal there, but I've used it. I mean, if you've actually used the chain and you've used these other chains, it's okay. But I mean, Sui and Solana blow it out of the water. The biggest thing that it has going for it is the way that they launched it. They did a semi-fair launch and they used a mining contract. So I think that they're going to win any type of security argument. And then they have all the users of Telegram. And then I think the Notcoin thing was a huge success. But when you look at the way that it functions and it deploys, if you're not on Telegram and using a Telegram-based wallet, a lot of people aren't into Ton. And in my experience, at least using it, I don't find it very fast. And I don't know if the tech's there. But as far as the user base of Telegram and integrating it with Telegram, I think that's where the use case is. And I think that's why it's so popular. Same in with the Notcoin thing. Anybody and their brother could have got on TG and just tapped away for several months, and they got $100, $500 worth of a coin. But why is that, right? Well, because it brought them into the Ton ecosystem. If they didn't just sell it right away, it brought them into the Ton ecosystem. They bought some Ton. They looked at some of the DeFi stuff. Maybe they bought some memes. But in my experience using it, it's okay. It works fine. It functions all right. But I mean, I like having my wallets not integrated in Telegram. I use some that are integrated in TG. But as far as appeal of the masses in technology, I don't find it in Ton, personally.
Can you get that on Coinbase or no? I don't. It's not on all the exchanges either, is it?
I use Change Now when I bought it.
So you're buying it decentralized on a DEX then, or a bridge. All right. What else we got? I wanted to get in. Oh yeah, I got another video for us, quick, because I wanted to have Supo teach us a little bit about this token as well, because we're still interested in this token, and I wanted to show you guys what he had to say about it. So hopefully, I got this at the right time.
Shrapnel. Now, Shrapnel, in my opinion anyway, this one is worth having as a large part of my portfolio. The reason being is because this one has a very high quality game. It's got, I can't remember the guy's name. I want to say Neon, but it's not Neon. But it's this 4-letter, I'm sure it begins with F, but it's this Phase, I think his name is. And this is a guy who is one of the ambassadors for Shrapnel. He's got millions of subscribers on YouTube and on Twitch, which means that Shrapnel at the right time could get the right level of exposure and therefore be the game that is that one game that takes over in cryptocurrency. You know, we've been waiting for it for a long time. We've been waiting for a big hit mainstream game. I think Shrapnel has the potential to be it because so many people like playing Call of Duty. It's on Avalanche, it's going to be cheaper to transact rather than Ethereum-based cryptocurrency. So this one, I think, could do a big multiplier. Particularly as right now it's at its low. It's literally at its low. It's literally like 5% away from its lowest ever, which means that unless you got an ICO, you are getting it at a lower price than anyone who's ever bought Shrapnel. That's why I believe it's worth buying. Ambition Igniters, what do you think of Meme Inu on X? I don't know them, so I can't really say. If you had H Corolla, thank you for the $6.99. If you had $10,000, what would be your allocation on 5 projects with low market cap, 1,000x potential? To be honest with you, it would probably be 4 from what's in my portfolio presently and 1 from this selection, is what I would say. So, what do you think of Wolf on AVAX versus Solana? I thought of dilution and I sold it to buy later. Cock in you. Would have you think Andy belongs on Binance Smart Chain since he's yellow? No, Binance Smart Chain's dead. No one likes, uses, or cares about Binance Smart Chain anymore. That's a relic. Binance Smart Chain, fuck that shit. Anything that launches now on Binance, that's not going to bother me.
Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah, but it's probably better cost-wise than Ethereum and other things, but it's dead.
I guess he doesn't like BNB chain, huh?
So you need to check out Crash. Crash, are you having a laugh? Crash is 20. So Stan AI. Supo, come chat in Stan AI, Stan of Supo. Thank you very much, Stan. I appreciate the $20. That's insane. Would you suggest a DGen Supo?
All right. Well, I think he went on to say that Shrapnel does have the ability to be the next Axie Infinity of this market, this next market. It has the possibility of being that big, even beating out games like Off the Grid and that other one that was on there, the Mafia or whatever it was game. So I don't know. I'm still pretty bullish on Shrapnel, and I think hopefully if I can get a little bit more DCA money in there this week, I'm gonna pick up a little bit more. As we're still sitting at 6 cents right now, it's actually up 21%. I think it hit 5. So I mean, I don't know. I think it still has a good upside for that game.
Well,
I know nobody's still likes it, so let's get it.
Yeah, I'm still very bullish on it, and a classic example of regardless of its present price, it's nothing's changed with it. There's still 180 to 200 developers working on the game. It's I think it's going to be phenomenal, and eventually the value will be realized in this one. I feel
they're all over social media too. There's been so many people playing it, so many contests.
Yeah,
a lot of footage right now that you can get on. They're tweaking it. They're making changes. They're listening to feedback. So it's coming quick.
Yep. I remain bullish.
Yeah, I don't know what the whole BNB stuff was about.
I think really what he's getting at there, and I tend to agree on this front. I don't think it's It's not what many developers would consider a credible chain. You don't see really high quality, high end projects launching on BNB. Certainly not anymore. I'm not convinced. Probably even in the past they did. I think it's become very much a degen type chain, and I think maybe in a way that's what he was kind of getting at. I mean, if you've got a really high quality project at the moment, you're probably going on ETH, you're going on Solana. You know, you're going in that area.
All right, most definitely. You were gonna say something, Brandon?
I love me some BNB chain. I'll always be a fan of BNB chain. But I'm starting to fade here. I'm starting to peter out. I did not get a ton of sleep last night, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and drop off and sit my butt on the couch and play some Horizon.
Well, that's not going to make you sleep. That's going to keep you awake.
Oh yeah, especially some of those really nasty robots that you have to kill in various ways. But
creeping through the grass.
Coming out for sure.
I am dragging ass.
You go get him.
All right, Brandon. Well, hopefully we'll see you next week, and thank you for tuning in. And guys, don't forget to always check out DeFi Guide. He streams on Monday and Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. and sometimes Fridays.
Sometimes Friday.
Sometimes skipping the whole week and not streaming at all until Friday.
Have a good weekend, Brandon.
Thanks, guys. You too.
Yeah. See you.
All right,
bye for now.
All right. Well, I did have one more segment with Supo, and I thought this was something we could bring here too, because we sit here and argue all the time about meme tokens, and he really puts this out there on, you know, your standpoint on memes, because memes at this point are a contender in the market, and there's something to be considered. So let's see some of his bullet points when it comes to meme tokens.
Why do you talk about these small memes? Why do you pump and dump memes? And it's, to be honest, it's actually pissing me off, right? The ignorance surrounding memes, because memes were like, you've got to think about is, how do people react? How did people react back when you first told them you invested in cryptocurrency? I was investing in cryptocurrency beginning of 2017, and when I was telling my father, when I was telling my sister, when I was telling significant people that I was investing in cryptocurrency, I mean, they would say, you don't want to do that. That's a scam. It's a criminal underworld coin. All these disbelievers, right? And I was just looking at them and thinking, God, you're so stupid. But you'll find out the hard way if you don't invest. They didn't. They invested late. Like, all of them did. But never mind. So anyway, the same attitude, I would say, is prevalent in memes. Like, everybody right now is just saying, "Oh, memes stupid, memes lose money. Let's just stick to solid fundamentals." Look, right? Memes have the following qualities. They're easy, right? Now, what you've got to think about is the mass market when they come in. Now, I remember in 2021, I was at the gym and I heard somebody talking about SafeMoon, right? And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I've never ever heard anybody around me talking about cryptocurrency in a mainstream location. They were talking about SafeMoon. I think they were also talking about FEG, and they might have been talking about something else that was really popular at that time. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like SafeMoon. And I just remember thinking, fuck, these people getting into cryptocurrency through meme coins. So the reason why is because it's easy. So easy to talk about, easy to explain, easy to get it, right? They're like the modern day Facebook page. I remember back in 2010 to 2013 when Facebook pages were all the rage. You had a Facebook page that was a common interest, an event, a page where a community of fans could hang out behind a certain entity or person. And these went to like 1 million likes, 5 million likes, 20 million likes. Like, they had huge, what's it called? They had huge popularity. But the modern day version is a meme coin. Like right now, people buy coins. They don't join a page and like a page. They buy a coin and they're personally invested in it. And that's fun, right? So it's just easy to get, explain, and buy. It's adoption friendly. So when retail come in, this is where they're going to go to first. There's no crazy tech, no confusing utility, just icons, right? You have this guy on Twitter that's going around showing Ethereum and WIF to people and say, what would you choose? And they choose WIF. Even though Ethereum has been around longer, is the technology, it's definitely something that is more revolutionary as far as, you know, modern day money is concerned. And yet they went with WIF. That shows you the mentality of retail. They like the icons, they like the fun. Every meme coin has a real world face. Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin, they're faceless. They're technologies. They're technologies that have grown over time due to network effect, but ultimately they're technologies, right? These are faces. You can really get more passionate about it. So celebs, animals, political figures, your trends, and known memes like, you know, DiCaprio cheers, side-eye Chloe, distracted boyfriend, Pepe, dancing baby. They got faces. You know what it is. You know what it is. Anyway, and it's personal. A lot of it. It's personal to your interests, hobbies, humor preferences. And if you're part of a generation like Gen Z, love a lot of the humorous stuff. You know, like Monster Cock in You and Soft Cock in You and all those stupid things that came out. Black Cock in You. Like those are dumb. The dark humor. And you know, Gen Z love that stuff. And that's what makes these things fly. And the ultimate thing is the best ever returns have come from meme coins. So look, best all-time gains. Number 5, Doge, 8,400x. Now, admittedly, this was between the period of 2015 to 2021, but this was the one that started it all, 8,400x. Then Pepe, 8 to the power 0.010 zeros 42. This did a 409,000x. Shiba Inu did a 1.5 million x. WIF did a 3.38 million x. And the last one, which is just frankly ridiculous, I hated this coin, Safe Moon, did 14 million x. Now, it doesn't matter what fundamental cryptocurrency you love, how low a market cap it is, you will never achieve these gains ever with those cryptocurrencies. Only with memes is this possible. And if you have a look, you know, 0 to the power of 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 11. 3 out of these top 5 meme coins that did super well had very, very low prices. And this is what people are attracted to. Because you buy it and you think, oh, if this only goes to 1 cent, I'll be a millionaire. And that's the sentiment that drives them. It never goes up to 1 cent or 10 cents, except in the case of like Doge. But it doesn't matter. It's the sentiment that drives the greed, that drives the prices, and therefore creates the multipliers. So to sit there and say, oh, I don't like meme coins, you're just basically missing out on the potential to make the most life-changing money. I mean, look, if you put $1 into Safe Moon at this point, it would be 14 million. $10 would be 140. If you put $100 into Safe Moon, it would be 1.4 billion. Like, come on. Like, meme coins are where you get this kind of stuff. And, you know,
that's a good place to stop it, but only in crypto. Only in crypto would you guys ever believe the gains that can be made. What'd you think of that meme coin dissertation, Mr. JVANQUISH?
I mean, he's right. If you want to make, big, quick returns, that's the way to make it. But they're also super, super, super risky. And it's like, which ones are going to take off? Nobody seems to know. And sometimes, unfortunately, it doesn't matter how competent the team are or It doesn't matter about the prep. I think to one of the other points he made, it's just, is there some weird Gen Z dark humor in the name, and does it just happen to take off? Right place, right time. And then one thing, if you look at a lot of these, especially on Solana, you'll see multiple tokens all have the same name. They'll use the same icon. They'll use the same logo. They'll front run other tokens. And a lot of them sold just 10, 12, 14x for no reason. So it's definitely like playing the lotto. Although there are some great teams like the Carlo team that does the animation and the Twitter stuff. So there's definitely ways to build them up. But finding those tokens before they launch sometimes is a needle in a haystack.
Well, it's like Elio was saying earlier. What was it? 34 million different meme tokens came out this year. That's amazing. You know.
Yeah, but I mean, most of them don't. Most of them don't have liquidity, or they don't really get anywhere. I don't know. I just think the whole meme coin market's got a lot more credibility this time around. For me, I don't have the time or the inclination to sort of put $10 on 1,000 different things. You know what I mean? I prefer to maybe see something get some legs, build a community, and then perhaps wait for an entry. A good entry might be the way. I think that it's a bit easier to play it. No, you're not going to get a million X, but it's a bit safer to play in that space. Once you see something actually get some traction, get some community, get some decent influences behind them, just gives you a better shot, I think. But yeah, that you won't make as many X's.
I want to ask you by these tips. Were you in the know on the Safe Moon project?
No, I wasn't. No, not one I got into.
All right.
Nope.
Well, I don't know. I think that's about all we got for tonight, guys. You guys got anything else we want to discuss or talk about?
Bye, Suey.
I got one other sweet thing to show that I didn't show. I'll just show up very quick.
Oh, real quick too. Like earlier in the video with Supo, he did really talk highly about Brett and Andy, and I did want to touch on Brett and Andy, the base meme tokens, because I'm not telling you to buy them or anything, but them are two tokens that you might want to take a look at. It's Brett and Andy. Brett actually went down to what, 11 cents this recent dip, and it was just sitting at 19 cents, and it's probably going to pop off to $1 to $3 in this next bull market. So one to keep your eyes on if you guys haven't heard about it yet. Go ahead, Jay.
All right, I'm going to show you this. This is something that the Swede team put out, kind of low profile. But basically, you log into this website. You use an email, so it's like their ZK login. And basically, this is it's a character, right? So I can go over here and I can make some of these changes like this. And if I click on over here, let me make sure I'm logged in correctly. Okay. So let's say I go over here. You can click View on SweScan. So I'll show you. If I go over here, this is the actual block explorer for SweScan. This is this character. So just by logging in there, I'm technically creating this NFT or this object, because Sui is object based. Now see what my guy looks like here. Now if I jump back over here, which is really cool, and this is why people want to build on Sui, and especially games. Let's say I come over here. I'm going to change it to ANKR. He's going to have this. Let's make his eyes this color. Make his skin this color. Change all kinds of crap. I click Update Character. And if we come back over here, as long as I'm logged in, we should see this change real time.
Oh, it looks
see that?
like you.
This is on the chain data that's just changed real time. So this is the stuff that Sui does with this object-based model, and this is why people are building. And you can go to this, you can log in. I put the link in the private chat if anyone wants to check it out. Let's say I come back here. Here's my character on potatoes. Let's change his hair to this. Change his body type to this. Let's do this. Do this. Click Update Character. Pop back to SweScan. I hit refresh. That's why people are building on Sui. Did you see how quick that did it? And this is just an example to show you how this object-based model and what you can do with NFTs. And not only that, these NFTs can own things, right? So there's like this structure where your NFT can own an asset, your NFT can own a coin, your NFT can own other NFTs, and it changes that quick and is written on the blockchain that dynamically. So that's just something cool that I want to show you guys.
Oh, that's neat.
Cool.
To be able to change in real time that quick, like that's just a testament of itself on how fast the blockchain moves.
And not only that, you didn't see, there was no transactions, there was no nothing. I paid no gas. I just literally clicked update my character, and then the blockchain updated it.
Awesome. All right. By these tips, you got any closing arguments?
No closing arguments, sir. As I said, just buy Sui. Look, it's hard. Buying when there's so much FUD around and there's so much despair around, it's hard. But history's shown us that these are the times when it's hardest to buy, when it feels gut wrenching to buy. They've been the best times. So if you've been sitting out of the market or you're thinking about buying stuff, maybe the time's now.
That's right. Not financial advice. All right, guys. Well, thank you for showing up this week. And next week we will not be here. I just want to make that loud and clear right now. We're going to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers next Friday night. So,
oh, cool! I love the Chili Peppers.
We'll be out Thursday to Sunday, and we'll catch up the week after. So I hope everybody has a great holiday weekend the rest of the weekend. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. So take care, everyone, and make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Join up over in our Telegram if you guys want to chat. Go over there, ask any questions you want. Also, real quick, in Telegram, we always got our Netflix picks. So let me see over here. I did watch a couple new things yesterday on Netflix that I wanted to share with you guys before we go. And I posted them in the chat. And here we are.
So how was the new Beverly Hills Cop?
Oh, it was awesome. So yeah,
is it good? Is it?
Yeah, it's on Netflix now. You got the Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley. It's out now on Netflix. So go check this out. It's a great watch. They did a good job with the movie, and they have some of the original characters in it. And they did a really good job. Also, I watched. They got a Nickelback documentary on Netflix too, as well, which is pretty good. It goes through a documentary how they grew up and how they came up through the ranks and stuff, and different bandmates and life on the road as a rock and roll star. I'm into that sort of documentary stuff. It was a pretty good documentary about Nickelback, so check that out as well on Netflix.
I'm not a big concert guy, but I actually have seen Nickelback in concert.
Yeah, they're probably pretty good though, huh?
I saw them in a gym.
Oh,
so,
really?
Like they were so loud, and like the gym acoustics aren't the best, so it like blew your eardrums out. But yeah, they weren't bad.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, have a great week, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. And thanks again, everybody, for coming out Saturday Night Live and DeFi. We'll catch you next time.
Cheers, guys. Have a great weekend.
Take care, guys.